Most of us have been told that nuts are superfoods. They're everywhere, in health magazines, in TV commercials, even recommended by dietitians as a heart-healthy snack. Almonds, walnuts, peanuts, the message is always the same: eat more nuts for a longer life. But here's the shocking truth. If you're a man over 60, not all nuts are your friend. In fact, some of them may silently enlarge your prostate, make your nighttime bathroom trips worse, and even disrupt your hormones. I'm Dr. Thomas Carter, and today we're going to uncover a side of nuts that hardly anyone talks about. There are at least 10 types of nuts that can do more harm than good for older men. And if you've been eating them daily thinking they're protecting your heart, they may actually be hurting your prostate instead. So why is this happening? First, many nuts are extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids. Omega-6 isn't bad by itself, but when your diet has too much omega-6 and not enough omega-3, it creates a perfect storm for chronic inflammation. That inflammation doesn't just affect your joints or arteries, it targets the prostate, causing it to swell and press on your bladder. The result? You can't empty your bladder fully. You're waking up 3, 4, or even 5 times at night, and your urine stream feels weaker. Second, some nuts are highly susceptible to aflatoxins, toxic compounds produced by molds that grow when nuts are stored in warm, humid places. Even in small amounts, aflatoxins can trigger oxidative stress, damage prostate cells, and in the long run, raise the risk of cancer. Third, certain nuts contain high levels of phytoestrogens, lignans, and phytosterols. These plant compounds mimic estrogen in the body. And for men over 60, that's not good news. Testosterone naturally declines with age, and if your diet pushes estrogen higher at the same time, the balance shifts even further. What happens next? The prostate gland grows, hormone-sensitive tissues get overstimulated, and symptoms of BPH, benign prostatic hyperplasia, become worse. See, not every nut is a superfood. Some are neutral, a few are genuinely protective, but others can accelerate the exact problems older men are trying to avoid. That's why in this 5-part series, I'll walk you through the 10 nuts you should think twice about if you're over 60, explain exactly what makes them risky, and suggest smarter choices you can make instead. Because the last thing you want is to sabotage your prostate health with something as simple as a handful of nuts. And we'll start with one of the most common, affordable, and beloved snacks in the world, a nut so deeply ingrained in daily diets that many people eat it without thinking twice. Yes, I'm talking about peanuts. Let's start with the nut that isn't even technically a nut, peanuts. They're legumes, but most people treat them like tree nuts. You find them in trail mix, peanut butter, snack bars, even health shakes. They're cheap, convenient, and everywhere. But for men over 60, peanuts come with 3 major problems. First, they are high in omega-6 fatty acids. If you snack on peanuts daily without balancing them with omega-3 rich foods like salmon or flax, you're fueling chronic inflammation. That inflammation settles in the prostate and urinary tract, which explains why so many men who think they're eating healthy still suffer from swelling and weak urine flow. Second, peanuts are notorious for contamination with aflatoxins, the toxic mold byproduct I mentioned earlier. Even when sold in clean packaging, trace amounts may still be there. Over time, these toxins can stress the liver and damage prostate cells, creating a risky environment for long-term disease. Third, peanuts are calorie-dense and easy to overeat. A small handful often turns into 3 or 4. This leads to weight gain, belly fat, and insulin resistance, all of which are linked to worsening BPH and lower testosterone. So if you're over 60, peanuts are not the harmless snack you thought they were. Now let's move to cashews. On the surface, cashews seem healthier. They're creamy, versatile, and packed with minerals like magnesium and copper. But here's the catch. Cashews are very high in oxalates. Oxalates are natural compounds that, in sensitive men, can bind to calcium and form kidney stones. If you've ever had kidney stones, you know how painful they are. And men over 60 are already at higher risk. Plus, kidney stress doesn't just stop at the kidneys. Poor kidney function can worsen urinary flow, making prostate symptoms more noticeable. Cashews also contain a compound called urushiol, the same allergenic oil found in poison ivy. While roasted cashews are generally safe, raw cashews can cause allergic skin or gut reactions in some men. This irritation feeds into systemic inflammation, again putting pressure on the prostate. Finally, let's talk about pecans. They're rich, buttery, and often marketed as heart-healthy. But pecans are one of the most estrogenic nuts you can eat. They contain high levels of phytosterols and plant-based estrogens. And as I said earlier, when estrogen levels climb while testosterone drops, your prostate pays the price. Enlarged prostate, weaker flow, urgency, and constant nighttime urination all get worse under hormonal imbalance. Pecans are also extremely calorie-dense. Just a small handful can pack over 200 calories. For men who are less active in their 60s and beyond, that extra energy often turns into stubborn belly fat, which itself produces more estrogen. It's a vicious cycle. Now, let's take a closer look at 3 nuts that most people believe are superfoods: walnuts, pistachios, and sunflower seeds. They're praised in magazines, promoted by dietitians, and often labeled as heart-healthy. But for men over 60, especially those dealing with prostate issues, the story is more complicated. Let's begin with walnuts. They're loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and even compounds that protect the brain. On paper, walnuts look like one of the healthiest nuts you could eat. But here's the problem. Walnuts are also very high in polyunsaturated fats, which are fragile and prone to oxidation. When these fats oxidize, either during roasting or while sitting in storage, they produce harmful compounds called lipid peroxides. These compounds don't just taste bitter, they also inflame blood vessels, irritate the urinary tract, and accelerate aging inside the prostate. On top of that, walnuts are calorie-dense. Just 1 cup carries over 800 calories. For older men who may not burn as much energy as they once did, this is a recipe for weight gain, belly fat, and estrogen imbalance, the same hormonal shift that enlarges the prostate and weakens urine flow. Next, let's talk about pistachios. They've exploded in popularity in recent years thanks to clever marketing. They're colorful, fun to crack open, and often recommended as a guilt-free snack. But pistachios carry hidden risks for prostate health. First, they're also very high in omega-6 fatty acids, just like peanuts. Without enough omega-3 to balance it out, that constant omega-6 intake fuels systemic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is like pouring gasoline on the fire of an aging prostate. Second, pistachios often come salted and flavored. Too much sodium raises blood pressure, strains the kidneys, and contributes to fluid retention, all of which can worsen urinary symptoms. And let's be honest, very few men eat just 10 pistachios. It's one of those snacks that's hard to stop, so the sodium and calorie load can sneak up fast. Third, pistachios are known to carry mold toxins when improperly stored. Like peanuts, they're vulnerable to aflatoxin contamination. Even small amounts over time put stress on the liver and prostate cells. Finally, let's turn to sunflower seeds. They're often seen as a casual snack, something you eat at a baseball game or while watching TV. And yes, they're packed with vitamin E and selenium, 2 nutrients that can protect cells from oxidative stress, but sunflower seeds come with 3 major warnings. First, they're one of the highest sources of omega-6 fats in the nut and seed family. A small handful delivers a big dose of inflammation-driving fats, which, again, tilt the body toward chronic prostate irritation. Second, sunflower seeds are often roasted in cheap vegetable oils. These oils themselves are inflammatory, doubling the problem. Combine them with high heat during roasting, and you end up with oxidized fats that worsen prostate swelling. Third, sunflower seeds can accumulate cadmium, a toxic heavy metal. Over time, cadmium builds up in the kidneys and prostate, leading to cellular stress, reduced detoxification, and even long-term damage. For older men with already stressed systems, this hidden toxin can be a real danger. When it comes to superfoods, chia seeds, flax seeds, and almonds usually sit at the very top of the list. They're promoted as heart-friendly, brain-boosting, and anti-aging. But for men over 60, especially those fighting prostate issues, these so-called miracle foods may actually create more problems than they solve. Let's start with chia seeds. They've gained fame as a weight loss aid, a fiber booster, and a plant-based omega-3 source. And yes, chia does deliver fiber and alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a plant form of omega-3. But here's the catch. ALA has to be converted by the body into DHA and EPA, the active omega-3s your cells actually use. That conversion rate is shockingly low, often less than 5%, which means most of the omega-3 benefits of chia never make it to your prostate or your brain. On top of that, chia seeds are extremely high in soluble fiber. For some, that's a good thing, but for many older men, too much soluble fiber creates bloating, gas, and digestive distress. A bloated gut puts pressure on the bladder and worsens urinary urgency, a double hit when the prostate is already swollen. Now let's look at flax seeds. These tiny brown seeds are often marketed as hormone balancing and heart healthy, but flax contains lignans, plant compounds that mimic estrogen. For younger men, this may not be a big deal, but for men over 60, whose testosterone is already naturally declining, adding estrogen-like compounds can further tilt the hormonal balance in the wrong direction. This shift not only slows metabolism and increases fat storage, it also feeds the exact problem we're talking about, prostate enlargement. High estrogen and low testosterone is the classic formula for BPH, benign prostatic hyperplasia. Flax seeds also carry the same conversion issue as chia. The ALA in flax rarely converts efficiently to the active forms of omega-3, so while the label looks impressive, the practical benefits are weak and the hormonal risks are strong. Finally, let's talk about almonds. Almonds have been called the king of nuts for their vitamin E, magnesium, and protein content. They've even been linked to better cholesterol and heart health. But almonds hide several red flags for older men. First, they're high in oxalates, the same compounds that form kidney stones. As men age, kidney function naturally declines. Add in high oxalate foods like almonds, and the risk of stone formation goes way up. Kidney stones don't just cause pain, they also increase urinary complications, which is the last thing a man with prostate issues needs. Second, almonds are calorie-dense. Just a few handfuls can equal the same calories as a full meal. For older men with slower metabolisms, this often leads to weight gain, belly fat, and insulin resistance, all of which worsen prostate enlargement and urinary struggles. Third, most store-bought almonds are roasted in vegetable oils or come salted. That combination means more inflammatory fats and more sodium, which both strain the cardiovascular system and the prostate. Friends, as we continue our journey through nature's pharmacy, let's take a closer look at three often overlooked gems: pumpkin seeds, cashews, and hazelnuts. Each of these carries unique nutrients that work quietly yet powerfully to support men's health, particularly after the age of 60. Let's start with pumpkin seeds, sometimes called pepitas. These tiny seeds are loaded with zinc, one of the most important minerals for male vitality. Zinc plays a critical role in testosterone production, immune health, and even sperm quality. Without enough zinc, energy levels drop, libido suffers, and the body's ability to repair itself slows down. Now here's the good news. A small handful of pumpkin seeds provides nearly 20% of your daily zinc needs. They also supply magnesium, another mineral that calms the nervous system, reduces inflammation, and keeps blood vessels flexible. For men struggling with restless sleep or nighttime bathroom trips, magnesium-rich pumpkin seeds can actually improve rest quality. And remember, better sleep means better hormone balance. Moving on to cashews. These creamy, slightly sweet nuts are often thought of as just a snack, but they're actually nutrient-dense. Cashews are high in copper, which supports red blood cell formation, bone strength, and brain health. They're also rich in monounsaturated fats, the heart-healthy fats that lower LDL cholesterol while raising HDL, the good cholesterol. And when we talk about men's health over 60, heart health cannot be ignored. It is directly tied to sexual health. A strong heart and open blood vessels mean stronger, more reliable circulation everywhere in the body. Cashews are also a decent source of arginine, an amino acid that helps produce nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for relaxing blood vessels and improving blood flow. Gentlemen, better circulation equals stronger performance. And finally, let's not forget about hazelnuts. These round, buttery nuts are nutritional powerhouses, rich in vitamin E, an antioxidant known for protecting cells from oxidative stress. Think of vitamin E as a shield, guarding delicate tissues, including those involved in intimacy, from damage caused by aging and free radicals. Hazelnuts are also packed with healthy fats, folate and manganese, all of which support brain function, nerve health, and metabolic balance. Interestingly, some studies suggest that hazelnuts can help reduce markers of inflammation, supporting long-term cardiovascular and prostate health. For men over 60 who may already be dealing with stiffness, joint pain, or enlarged prostate, adding hazelnuts into the diet can provide both comfort and protection. Here's a practical tip. Try creating a simple mix of roasted pumpkin seeds, cashews, and hazelnuts. Keep it in a jar at home or carry a small bag with you when you're out. Instead of reaching for processed snacks or sugary treats, grab a handful of this natural, nutrient-rich combination. Just one serving offers zinc, magnesium, vitamin E, and heart-healthy fats all in one bite. And don't underestimate the mental aspect of enjoying nuts and seeds. Many of my patients find that making a small intentional choice, like choosing a handful of pumpkin seeds instead of chips, gives them confidence. It's a daily reminder that they're investing in their long-term health, not just reacting to problems when they arise. Over time, these small changes add up, creating a lifestyle of strength, clarity, and vitality. So, gentlemen, the next time you pass by the nut section at the market, remember this: pumpkin seeds for hormones and rest, cashews for circulation and heart health, and hazelnuts for protection and vitality. 3 simple foods, easy to add and profoundly powerful for a man's body after 60. We've traveled through the world of nuts and seeds together, and I hope you see now just how powerful these simple foods can be. They're not magic pills, but when you make them part of your daily routine, they support your hormones, your heart, your energy, and yes, even your performance. Remember, health after 60 is not about chasing youth. It's about building strength, balance, and confidence for the years ahead. So start small. A handful of walnuts in the morning, pumpkin seeds before bed, or a mix of almonds, cashews, and hazelnuts as your go-to snack. Take care of your body, and it will take care of you. This is Dr. Thomas Carter wishing you vitality, strength, and health for many years to come. Stay well, gentlemen. I'll see you in the next video.